I welcome you all to another session of our e learning. We are discussing social studies for JHS2, social studies for JHS2, and we have been looking at entrepreneurship. That is our area of discussion, or that has been our area of discussion from last week. Today, we are concentrating on state owned enterprises. The continuation of our discussion on types of enterprises. We looked at sole proprietorship, we looked at partnership, we looked at joint stock companies, we looked at all these three, and now we are looking at state-owned enterprises. State-owned enterprises. SOEs. So whenever I use SOE in this lesson, I'm referring to state-owned enterprises. So you take note. By the end of this lesson, I'm expecting that the student will be able to describe state-owned enterprises and identify the types. The student will be able to explain the importance of SOEs to the economy of Ghana. And the student will be able to highlight the challenges of state-owned enterprises and suggest solutions to these challenges. Very important. Be able to identify the challenges of state-owned enterprises and suggest solutions to these challenges. State-owned enterprise. State-owned enterprise. State-owned enterprise. Okay. State-owned enterprise is an organization which is owned and managed by the state through an act of parliament. An organization which is managed or owned and managed by the state through an act of parliament is a state-owned enterprise. And the main reasons for these companies is to provide essential services and improve the living condition or the welfare of the citizens. Though some may be profit-oriented, others are also just utility providers that are seeking the welfare of the people and not necessarily driven by profit. Let's look at types of state-owned enterprises. Public utility corporations is one type of state-owned enterprises. And when we talk about public utility corporations, we are looking at state businesses or state companies that provide essential services to the people. Though they are not there to make a loss, they are not driven by profit. Their main aim is not to make profit, but their main aim is to ensure that the general populace, the citizens, get utility services at affordable prices. And examples of these companies are ECG, that is the Electricity Company of Ghana. And then we have the GWC, or that is the Ghana Water Company Limited. Another type of state-owned enterprises is commercial and industrial corporations. So there are some state-owned enterprises that are commercial and industrial corporations. And these are corporate bodies or businesses that provide trading, manufacturing, construction, and other services to the people. And for these commercial and industrial corporations, they are there to make profit in order to generate income to the state. Examples are Ashanti Goldfields. We have the Ghana Consolidated Diamond Company, I think so. We also have the State Construction Corporation, that's the SCC. And we have the Ghana Industrial Holding Corporation, GIHOC or GIHOC. There are many others. Then we also have state-owned enterprises that are marketing boards or marketing corporations. These are state companies that are created to take charge of marketing agricultural produce of the state. And one of the most prominent of these is the Ghana Cocoa Board. Ghana Cocoa Board. We are the state institution in charge of marketing our cocoa produce. They also have the Cotton Development Board, the CDB. Then we also have the Meat Marketing Board, and so on. All these are state institutions that seek to market our agricultural produce for better income and foreign exchange. Then we also have finance corporations. We have state-owned enterprises that are finance corporations, and these are state enterprises that provide banking, insurance, and credit to individuals and corporate bodies. Examples are the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, and the State Insurance Company, SIC. We also have the Ghana Commercial Bank, GCB. I think now we also have the CBG, the Consolidated Bank of Ghana, and many others. State-owned enterprises are established for certain reasons. And these reasons are the importance they serve or the advantages they have. Employment creation. State-owned enterprises are very huge enterprises or businesses, usually with branches sometimes all over the country, that is in almost every region of the country, and therefore creating jobs for a lot of people. Another reason for establishing state-owned enterprises is to provide services at reasonable cost. Though private enterprises may be providing such services, state-owned enterprises, because they are not necessarily profit-oriented, are able to provide same services or even better services at the best affordable prices for the Ghanaian. Then protection of national interest is another reason why state-owned enterprises are established. Some state enterprises are established to protect national interests so that the government will have a direct influence on how certain things are done, all in the interest of the well-being of the people. Some business ventures can only be established by the government. The armed forces, for example, is a business venture, but you may not see it as such. And the capital required to establish an armed forces is so huge that a private individual cannot establish an armed forces. And also, if it is given to private, it may not be in the interest of the nation. Apart from that, there are other companies like the Volta Aluminium Company, the Volta River Authority, which are state-owned enterprises that need huge capital investment that private entities may not be able to acquire. Unfortunately, most of our state-owned enterprises have collapsed or have become defunct because of mismanagement and other things. Prominent state-owned enterprises that existed in the early days of Ghana, like the Black Star Line, which was a shipping line, a vessel owned by the state, like the Ghana Airways, which was an airline which had so many aircrafts that flew within Africa and even went beyond Africa, both domestic and international flights. These companies required a lot of capital investment. And that is why it is only the state that is able to set up such enterprises. Then, sometimes these enterprises are built by the state to promote economic development. Akosombo, for example, is one of the communities in Ghana, or the cities in Ghana, or towns in Ghana. One of the towns in Ghana. I think the best word to describe Akosombo is a town. One of the towns in Ghana with the best roads, the most reliable supply of electricity and water. And all this is because the Volta River Authority, which oversees the Akosombo Dam, which generates hydroelectric power for the nation, is situated there. I remember when Bui Dam was supposed to be built to supplement the Akosombo Dam, the whole of Bui Township and other neighboring towns and villages had to be moved to a different location and re-established so that they can enjoy all facilities that anybody in a well-developed town will enjoy, and pave way for the construction of the Bui Dam. If not for the construction of that Bui hydroelectric power dam, those people would have still be living in a remote village setting. Sometimes these state companies or these state-owned enterprises are established to create economic development across various areas of the country. Though there are all these good reasons for establishing state-owned enterprises, because of the nature of state-owned enterprises, it faces a lot of challenges. One most common challenge is the political interference. State-owned enterprises are owned by the state, and its management and leadership is usually appointed by the president through legal statutes that have been put statutes or legal procedures that have been put in place by the laws of the state. And so there are political interferences in their management processes. And because of the frequent change of government, one government may direct or may give policy and directions to one side, and another government that comes when there's a change of government will not follow that policy and will divert the course of these enterprises. And so political interference is one major challenge of these state-owned enterprises. Inefficiency and poor delivery is another challenge because there is poor supervision, poor management, and all that. Corruption and embezzlement is another major challenge. Unfortunately, most people that are put in charge of these state-owned enterprises, because there is no proper monitoring and corruption check, these people who deal with huge sums of money and huge investment and business dealings are tempted to be corrupt and sometimes embezzle state funds, thereby causing financial loss to the state. Poor working condition and negative work attitude is another. Most of the state-owned enterprises have poor working environment, and because the employees are not motivated, they put up negative attitude towards work. Another challenge or problem facing state-owned enterprises is that they do not have enough funds to operate. Usually, funds to support these state-owned enterprises come from the state and must be approved by Parliament. And so the process of even getting funds is very long and bureaucratic. Unlike in a private enterprise where a private individual can find every means to raise funds to develop their business. Solutions to problems facing state-owned enterprises. Though all these problems are facing state-owned enterprises, all is not lost because there are solutions that can help. And one major solution, or one most important solution, is to increase independence and freedom of SOEs. When state-owned enterprises are made independent, they will be free from the many interferences of political leaders and will be able to concentrate on a single or on a clear path to achieve success. Then improved conditions of service to enhance labor productivity. If the conditions of service in these state-owned enterprises are improved, workers will feel motivated and will put out their best to ensure that there is proper delivery and efficiency. Then measures must also be established to reduce corruption, checks and balances, effective monitoring and supervision. And then people who embezzle state funds or involve themselves in corruption should be surcharged and made to pay so that it will serve as a deterrent to others. Apart from that, they could even be jailed for such offenses. Finally, the state should inject more funds into state-owned enterprises to ensure their continuous survival. Good. Control of state-owned enterprises. Sole proprietorship is owned and managed by a single individual. He has all the powers. Partnerships, well, partners have a say. Joint stock companies or cooperatives also have their own control measures or control protocols. Unfortunately, state-owned enterprises have so many controls. Ministerial controls are one of them, where ministers make appointments and transfers to the board and also give directives and line of action. And so the ministry under which the state-owned enterprise is, the minister in charge has control. Then we also have legislative control. Because state-owned enterprises are created by Act of Parliament, their roles, their functions, and limitations are defined by law. And so sometimes they are handicapped in a way. Then judicial control. You see, because state-owned enterprises are created by law or by an Act of Parliament, they assume a legal personality. And so state-owned enterprises can sue and can be sued. State-owned enterprises can sue and can be sued because of their legal position. And for that matter, any ruling of a court or decision by a court can be binding on SOEs. Media influence is another control. If the media is not, or if the state-owned enterprise is not performing, the media can rally against it and criticize it to the extent that it will be put in check. Then public objections can also serve as a control for state-owned enterprises. If state-owned enterprises provide services and goods and the public do not like it, it's not up to standard, they can choose to object it. They can choose not to access their services. They can choose not to purchase their goods. And this will serve as a control to check and ensure that the right thing is done within state-owned enterprises. I hope you have learned a lot today. I encourage you to take your textbooks and read more on the topic. It is good to have in-depth knowledge on such topics, especially those of you who aspire to become entrepreneurs in the future. As a test of your knowledge on what we have discussed, I want you to 1. Mention 3 types of state-owned enterprises. 2. State 2 importance of state-owned enterprises, which is the same as the reasons why state-owned enterprises are established. Then 3. Identify 2 challenges facing state-owned enterprises. I wish you good luck, and this brings us to the end of today's lesson. Stay safe and keep learning. Bye bye.